So hello, my name is Emily. I'm the CMO of Hype. Thank you all for joining us at Onchain Growth Summit. I have my friend Cephas here. Do you mind introducing yourself and also briefly telling us what FOMO is?
Hi everyone, my name is Cephas Ndubueze. I'm the founder of FOMO Berlin. I would say we do two things quite well. We curate and showcase the best events in the city, these days in Berlin, Munich, kind of Cape Town, on one side. On the other side, we organize events for founders, operators, investors, and bring people together and companies paying us to do so. We believe the best business networking is generated in social setting. So we're quite comfortable about bringing people together. So quickly about us.
And the reason I wanted to bring Cephas here is because, like I said earlier, typically with crypto growth marketing events, we isolate ourselves from the Web 2 world. And what you've built is a pretty amazing community. And I've been to some of the events as well. And community is also a hot topic in crypto or Web 3 marketing. So I'd love to dig into how you grew this community, how did you go past that cold start problem, but maybe we should first showcase what FOMO is about. So.
Audio. So you can see up top 3 different kind of events that we organize. I think on the left side is a community building with 70 people, powered by Conto. In the center, you see we did it last month with 4 funds: World Fund, Carbon Equity, BlackRock, and PT1. Around 160 people came together, VCs, LPs, and different kind of founders about climate. On the right side was more like a community event. We call it Boozy Brunch on a Boat, all in white, where we invited founders and partners that we have worked with in the past. So for us, always focus, how can we set up the location in a way that it creates FOMO afterwards, and kind of building aspiration on what I want to attend the next event. So I hope after seeing the content, you want to attend the next event.
I'm gonna turn the sound down here.
And for us, like, setting is super important. I think that like last 12 months, we organized over 70 events. So it's something that we always do, and I will just do it now. I hope it's fine. Setting. So if you don't mind and you'd like to listen, I would ask everyone before I continue kind of the Fireside chat to come up in the first 2-3 rows, so we have it a bit more cozy setting. Are you in? I won't continue after if not. Don't be shy.
Nice.
It's much better. Thank you.
So I think, I'm not sure if you were able to hear Cephas with the party music in the background, but I think that was a really perfect example of the different vibes you curated. And it sounds like you have a working business model as well, where you're connecting brands to connect with these people and also curating experiences. First off, before we dig into how you even grew community, how do you define community?
It's difficult, and it's kind of, for me, from my point of view, community is getting like a bit of a buzzword that everyone's using, or what really is community. To simplify it, yes, we're building a community, but first of all, we're building an audience. I have a newsletter. Today we have in Berlin close to 10,000 readers, in Munich 2,000 readers that are reading us every week. 60% open rate, 11 to 20% click rate, depends on the day. But that's an audience. I send an email out and people are reading it. One-way direction. That's a clear audience. Community is 2, 3, 4 ways. So in a community, they're able to interact with me, or they're able to interact with each other. So for us, you can utilize different kind of platforms. Honestly, it doesn't matter. We utilize community in form of events. We bring people together and kind of connect them in a way that they're kind of building business opportunities afterwards. So whenever we, especially when we do curated events, we generate all the emails, LinkedIn's, and Instagram, and we enable them to connect afterwards and sending kind of the list afterwards to the people so they can connect. But in the end, you can use different kind of definitions. But for me, one point is like, creating a place where people can connect and building things together and having some kind of things in common. For us, very broad, is the tech and business audience. So that's our focus of audience. That's the people that we want to reach, and that's the people that we gather and bring to our events.
So let's talk through some of the numbers now, because it sounds like you already have a discernment between community versus audience, and community is a bit more multifaceted. There's more touch points. I'd love to talk about the different maybe brands you've worked with or specific channels. So since you're building both an in real life community and using digital as a way to maybe connect the dots, you can let me know how you define this. How did you actually go from 0 to your first 10 people, then start also getting these brands involved?
Yeah. Cold start problem, always difficult with building a community or kind of building an audience, especially if you have none. And that was kind of for us when I started now 2 years ago. That was when the first newsletter went out. Utilizing other communities. So really kind of hustling through it and sending the newsletter out in every existing WhatsApp group that I knew. So utilizing other communities and utilizing their kind of networking effect to grow. And then, simpler said than done, building a great product. So we sent out the email, the newsletter in different kind of WhatsApp groups, and within weeks we had over 1,000 readers following or subscribing to our newsletter. And then is asking your community members, see who reads you or who's highly engaged, and ask them very nicely, would you mind sharing it? So we are probably the first 2-3 months we ask every week one person at least to share it on LinkedIn and Instagram that this person is reading FOMO Berlin or attended a FOMO Berlin event. And that's kind of the early ways how you kind of grow your community and making sure that the right people are part of the newsletter.
Would you say you're in a different phase now, maybe a bit more scale, or are you still doing a lot of these tactics that are not necessarily scalable? Because it sounds like very similar to crypto marketing. There's a lot of one-on-one relationships that we have to build, even in real life conferences like this one or on Twitter. I get a lot of cold DMs to test products. And it sounds like you did something very similar where you're utilizing other people's communities or other people's groups that may have some psychographic overlap with this tech group. Are you at a point now where it's a bit more automated and you're actually seeing new people enter because the community has grown or your user base has grown?
Yes and no. I think we're like a lucky position. A few things that helps us. Newsletter is easy to share. It's just a link. Events are easy to share. You always want to kind of bring someone else along. And so if someone asks you, hey, how did you get it from? This event, from FOMO. If you attend an event and someone asks you, how do you know about this event? Yeah, from FOMO. I didn't know about this. They're subscribing. So with a different kind of variety of effects within the product that helps to grow. That's one aspect. Another aspect is by doing events, especially kind of events where we make sure we have great content, pictures, videos, people want to share it. People share it on LinkedIn, people share it on Instagram. So this helps to grow. If we go with the numbers, it grows faster. So we haven't been now in the case where we need to put ads. So we do it now with Instagram, especially if we have great content, but not on any other channels. And we work with different larger partners. So you're getting bigger. Now you can work with larger influencers, creators, larger brands that from their point of view want to share the content, therefore increasing the growth and therefore increasing the numbers of weekly subscribers that we get on our platform.
So just for everyone here, could you explain exactly what channels you use? So outside of the in real life events, you must be on multiple channels. You have the newsletter.
Yeah, so we have the newsletter. We have LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp. So WhatsApp works very well for us. Different location. Then we have Luma. So different kind of partners. So it's easy, different kind of events using us to promote the event. And then we ask in return, hey, just mention above or below your event that this event is featured by Luma, by FOMO, and it's linked. So this helps us to grow, to get new subscribers. So this is 5-6 different kind of channels that we're using every week to get new subscribers on different kind of paths.
And earlier you said it's really important to build a good product. And you've been building FOMO Berlin for 2 years now. I'm curious, did your plan or vision with the product deviate after you listened to what the community said? And were there any inflection points where you realize like, oh, actually what I had an assumption on or took a bet on isn't what the people who love FOMO actually want?
Honestly, not really. Um, so I knew it could work, but I was surprised how fast it grew. So a great test is if you talk about it and someone asks, okay, where can I subscribe? So whenever we talk about it, everyone's asking directly, where can I subscribe? We can see now on the data, like we have close to 100% conversion rate. People see it. It's literally, we still don't have a website. We have a landing page, FOMO Berlin, 5 minutes overview about the best events in tech culture we see. People see it, they subscribe. So you see like if the value proposition is good, people subscribe to it. So that's kind of, for us, the most easiest approach in regards to it. We got like different kind of requests. Hey, I would like to see more events. I like to have a bit more verticals. But we require like, hey, our vision is to enable people, particularly Berlin, to find new things. And we don't want to force it. And we believe by curating the best events from our point of view, this creates value for our audience. Some would disagree, but we believe in it and we stick to it to the end. So sometimes you should listen to your customers, but sometimes you should believe in your vision, and you might know better.
So how many events have you ran?
Over 70 events over the last 12 months, from small events with 10, 15 people to events with over 200 people. Community events with dancing and party to dinners with the best consumer or climate tech founders.
What are the top learnings for those? I mean, we're at an event right now, so we're live at an event, and this is actually a huge channel in crypto as well, since everything here is pretty early tech, and so often collaborating with each other in real life allows us to grow. I'm curious if there are any tips you've learned of how to throw the best events to keep people retained or also invite new people, especially in an age where we're so digital and so online.
From my point of view, we see that most events are not very clear about the purpose. So what's the purpose? What's the tension? What's the reason why bringing people together? And then be smart, creative regarding your communication. I think regarding events, it starts with the first email. It starts with the location. It starts how you're inviting the people, which platform you're using to invite the people, up to the event and up to the content that you create afterwards. Because the marketing for the next event already starts here. So we take all this in consideration to create kind of FOMO for our own events. By having kind of this track record, it's much easier to get the people in our door, in our spaces. And then be very niche. Like sometimes you think, oh, that's too niche. No, you always find enough people that are relevant for this topic, and that makes it more interesting. You get much more senior people, relevant people for this particular event.
And walk me through what the future looks like on both your idea of the future of community and future of FOMO Berlin. Where are we going from here?
I could go a bit broader. Like we see the Web3 space, Web2, but in general, like the business tech bubble, it's a massive bubble in every key city. And we see more and more brands want to get attention. Like I think the biggest thing is attention. Most people are super busy, so it's difficult to reach them. And if we're able to reach them on a consistent basis, companies, B2B, B2C companies are willing to pay a lot to get access to it. So now we're active in Berlin, active in Munich. We're planning to launch London, New York, and be accessible in every key city worldwide.
So it sounds like you're scaling this initial audience of tech people in Berlin to other cities. So it's a bit of a horizontal scaling. I think also here you have a ton of different companies you worked with. These, I imagine, are German tech companies.
Some are also tech companies, but yeah, very diverse. So we have around 30% founders, 30% working for different kind of tech companies, from scale up, Amazon, Google, up to Series A startups. So very diverse investors, private equity, LPs. So it's the broader audience of the business and tech bubble, because we're also at the newsletter, you have access to different kind of events. This can be early stage startups, from dinners to brunches, up to larger conferences for marketers, community builders, AI, health, and different kind of topics.
Amazing. I'd also like to ask, and I will open this up for everyone in the audience if you do have any questions for Cephas, because it's not every day where people in this space are interacting with Web2 business owners or founders. Did you do any paid marketing or paid ads, or was everything growth related, all manual and organic?
Most organic. We just started recently, like kind of 2 months ago, for Instagram. We see that especially brands like to work, are looking at Instagram regarding how many subscribers you have, or agencies, and it just increased the pipeline of potential partners. So therefore, we're pushing ads on Instagram to grow our audience over there. But normally everything was organic, but this helps to keep high open rate, high click rate, and have a relevance group. So that's the key thing. It doesn't help if you have massive millions of subscribers, but they're not relevant for your product.
Right, like focusing on the conversion point and keeping the community high quality. And also, speaking of community, because oftentimes in crypto marketing, the community has so many different behaviors based on what they're there for. And oftentimes in crypto, it can be very mercenary, meaning like I might be farming because there's an airdrop or I get some type of reward for it. There seems to be many different types of events you throw and interests. How are you able to meet the needs of all of these different groups in your community?
Again, to be very niche. So we did, for example, that was a successful event 3 weeks ago, an event with Conto. It's a new fintech bank. And they asked, hey, we would love to reach international freelancers. Okay. We thought about what kind of concept can we create to bring this particular people into the room. So we decided on a topic like, let's talk about money for real. We have a very sophisticated CM base, so we know exactly who's a builder, who's a founder, who's an investor, who's a freelancer. So we invited all the freelancers to come to this particular event, and we talk very transparent about, with the speakers, how much salary they're making and what the income streams. So real talk about money, and of course the product Conto came in again, because one of the best products for internationals to set up the bank account. So afterwards, over 20 people approached the Conto team. I think now we have like 10 people from 90. People already open up an account with the bank. So it's really about what's the purpose, who's the audience, and try to find the right mix and match.
Amazing. I just want to recap some of the growth tactics you talked about today. So you were really doing things that didn't scale. You first started to share FOMO and share some of your early events with other communities. And then the numbers started to grow organically. You're just now exploring paid ads on Instagram, it seems, after hitting 14,000 people. And you also are looking to expand into other cities. And I imagine you're doing this with the same playbook where now you can copy and paste since you have found some form of product market fit in Berlin.
Yes and no. If you have more resource available, we strongly consider to kind of acquire communities, acquire newsletters, and using this kind of to kind of over-jumped kind of the cold start problem. That's where we decided, hey, let's start focus first on Berlin, get enough resources, enough revenue to then acquire other communities and use their customer base to jump ahead.
Amazing. I wanted to open up the audience to any questions you might have for Cephas. I think Rachel.
Yes.
2,000 euros and 50 people in an event? It's Berlin. You could do this in a parking lot. Just get a DJ.
Yeah, I think the question is like, what's the purpose and what's the intent? Like, what do you want to accomplish? So that's first our aspect. And then in return, for most of our events, we didn't even have budget. I think the key thing is like, who do you want to reach? Be very clear about this, and then finding the right partners that want to reach this particular audience, and they will give you money, products, event places. So from probably 70 events, we make money, we never invest into any event so far.
How are you getting these partners? Are you just like cold DMing on LinkedIn, calling them up?
No, thank God not. By curating a lot of events, you meet enough people. So networking is key thing, and I kind of try to be with everyone friendly. You connect with them, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, email, and then people approach you, hey, we'd love to do something. You keep it in backend, and then you have an idea that's perfectly fit to this particular group. They often say yes. For example, we're gonna do an August event, a running event. So Lululemon, they're focusing big on running, and they're working with different kind of communities. But which community that they haven't reached yet is the tech community. A Lululemon leggings cost 150 euro. Most people can't afford it. But people in the tech industry have a higher salary, yes. But I haven't done that. There's not like a there are a lot of run clubs, but there's no tech run club so far in Berlin. There's something in New York. So we're going to kind of pitch and run. So we're going to work with 4 or 5 different kind of VCs, and Lululemon will sponsor everything because they want to reach this particular group, which I normally wouldn't reach on Instagram, because most people don't use so much Instagram or follow the creators.
It sounds really similar to when you're running paid ads and you can target digitally, except with you, you have a very keen understanding of how to connect these brands to your community and or your audience.
Exactly. So similar to Facebook or Instagram, you know exactly who you want to reach, and we have like a very sophisticated CRM base with over 10,000 people living in Berlin. We know exactly who's the founder. We know exactly who's freelance. We know exactly who's working where, and we kind of gauge their salary. So these are interesting data points that the brands want to see, and we provide them, and we ensure if we say 70 people will attend, 70 people will attend. And that's kind of, yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how important are personal relationships in your business?
10. Well, yeah, 10. But I also would say, if you have a reach and you have, let's say, powerful, it doesn't matter if you're asshole. People want, in the end, it's also a business. If you can promise, if you work with me, I will bring you 30 CFOs in a room. If you work with me, I bring you 50 Web3 engineers into a room. Most companies and brands would say, yes, okay, what's the price? So you think more like, what value proposition can you bring back? And these days, one of the most difficult things is attention, particular attention regarding events. No. Yeah, yes, a bit, but also no. We have 10,000 readers. I would say most people don't know about me. They see my name, but if a Cephas or David or Andrew, doesn't matter. And what I mentioned earlier, it's a great product. So people read it every week because we provide a clear, but also very simple value proposition. We showcase the best events in the city. Easy said and done.
I think Cephas, just for context, she ran a huge event yesterday, and I think similar to what Cephas is saying, using SheFi has some brand recognition, just like FOMO Berlin. So I think that helps get a lot of traction in the door, and from there, it also builds your personal relationships, where the next one should be a lot easier too.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm curious about the view of brands when it comes to Web3, from your point of view. And also, not just Web3, but like tokens in general, and whether you've seen any change in their perspective of like the value prop within Web3 over the last like 6 to 12 months, or.
Good question.
Be brutally honest.
Yeah.
It's really rare we talk to people outside our industry.
I'm not so much in anymore, but what I see from an outside point of view is like, particularly Web3 events, again, it's focused on Web3. Literally, who cares? Token, NFT, who cares? So the key thing about, which is not enough speaking in this industry is like, what is our actual value proposition? And make it clear and simple. If we can provide value to the brands and simplify it without utilizing technology, other words, it helps. But often, in the Web3 bubble, if we're focusing on these key terms, keywords, and making it too confusing. And what we also see is like, okay, we have this Web3 bubble, and there's a Web2 bubble. Why? This tech, more different kind of technology. We have AI, we have health, we have defense tech. We don't differ regarding this. So that's what we see, unfortunately, too often. Like Web3 space stays in Web3 space. And limiting itself regarding resources and potential partnerships.
I think this answer just shows we have a lot more work to do in this space overall. Thank you so much, Cephas, for coming, and thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you had a great time at Onchain Growth Summit.